Ebony Daniels smiled as she heard them laughing about her in the kitchen. That was new. Usually, the jokes made her stomach hurt. But today, something had changed inside her. Today, she knew a secret they didn't know. A secret so big, so powerful, that their laughter sounded like tiny birds chirping before a storm. Did you see how she talks? Brittany, the hostess, whispered loud enough for everyone to hear, like she just got off a boat or something. The line cook, Marcus, snorted. She's been here 3 years and still can't get our orders right half the time. Damon, the manager, leaned against the counter with his expensive watch gleaming under the kitchen lights. Well, what do you expect? She's just a waitress. This is probably the best job she'll ever have. They all laughed. The sound bounced off the shiny pots and pans hanging on the walls. Ebony stood just outside the kitchen door, holding an empty tray. Her uniform was perfectly pressed, as always. Her hair was pulled back in a neat bun. Her shoes were polished, even though nobody ever looked at her feet. She took a deep breath, and that smile grew a little bigger. Just a waitress, she whispered to herself. We'll see about that. La Mariposa was the fanciest restaurant in Oak Ridge. It sat on the corner of Diamond Street, where all the rich people came to eat expensive food and be seen by other rich people. The floors were so shiny you could see your face in them. The tables had white cloths that cost more than Ebony's weekly paycheck. Crystal chandeliers hung from the ceiling like frozen fireworks. Ebony had worked there for 3 years, 2 months, and 16 days. She knew exactly how long because she had been counting. Counting days. Counting insults. Counting opportunities. Every morning, she arrived at 10 o'clock sharp. She tied her apron, checked her notepad, and became invisible. That's what it felt like, being a waitress at La Mariposa. People looked through her like she was made of glass. They snapped their fingers at her. They called her girl, even though she was 28 years old. They sometimes didn't say please or thank you, like she was a robot, not a person. But Ebony had learned something important over those 3 years. Invisible people hear everything. She heard Mr. Patel, the owner, talking on the phone about money problems. The restaurant looked fancy, but it was bleeding cash like a cut that wouldn't stop. She heard him say words like debt and interest, and maybe it's time to sell. She heard Damon bragging to the other staff about how he was going to buy La Mariposa himself someday. He talked about his connections, his investors, and how he'd make it even more exclusive. We'll get rid of the dead weight, he'd said once, looking right at Ebony as she refilled water glasses. She heard the chef complaining that the food suppliers charged too much. She heard the hostess talking about how the restaurant's Instagram page hadn't been updated in 6 months. She heard customers whispering that the menu was boring, the same dishes they'd been serving since 2010. Ebony heard everything, and she wrote it all down. Late at night, after her shift ended at 11, after she took the bus home to her small apartment, after she ate her simple dinner of rice and beans, Ebony would sit at her tiny kitchen table and study. She didn't study from school books. School had ended for her after high school when her mother got sick and the hospital bills piled up like snow in winter. But Ebony had discovered something magical. The internet was full of free knowledge. She watched business videos on YouTube while washing dishes. She listened to podcasts about restaurants and money while riding the bus. She read articles about marketing and management on her phone during her break times. She learned words like profit margins and brand identity and customer acquisition. Every penny she didn't need for rent or food, she saved. She opened a small investment account and put $5 in it, then 10, then 20. She watched those tiny amounts grow, just a little bit, like a seed pushing through dirt toward the sun. She joined online groups where business owners talked about their struggles. She asked questions, pretending she was researching for a friend. People were happy to help. They told her about angel investors, about business proposals, about how to read a profit and loss statement. Month by month, year by year, Ebony built something in secret. Knowledge, money, a plan. She made a friend online named Mariah, a woman who invested in small businesses. They talked for hours about dreams and possibilities. Mariah had money. Ebony had vision. When you're ready, Mariah had told her, I'm ready. At La Mariposa, nobody noticed that the quiet waitress was changing. They didn't see that her eyes were sharper now, watching everything with the focus of a hawk. They didn't know that she could calculate the restaurant's monthly costs in her head better than the accountant they paid $5,000 to. They just saw a black waitress in a white apron, someone to ignore, someone to mock. Damon loved to make her feel small. "Ebony, you missed table 7, he'd say in front of everyone, even when she hadn't. "Ebony, smile more, you're scaring the customers. Ebony, maybe you should try working at a diner instead, somewhere more your speed." Brittany would forget to seat customers in Ebony's section, giving the good tippers to the other servers. Marcus would make her food orders last, so her tables waited longer. The other waitresses would talk about their plans and dreams, but when Ebony spoke, they'd suddenly remember somewhere else they needed to be. It hurt. Every single day it hurt. Some nights, Ebony cried into her pillow, wondering if she should just quit and find somewhere else to work. But then she'd remember her notebook, her plan, her secret meetings with Mariah, the way Mr. Patel's face looked tired and old when he talked about selling, the way Damon's confidence was really just noise covering up his empty ideas. And she'd smile again. 3 years, 2 months, and 16 days of being invisible, of being mocked, of being underestimated. But Ebony Daniels had learned the most important lesson of all. The person nobody sees is a person who sees everything. And soon, very soon, they would all see her. The storm was coming. The moment came on a Tuesday afternoon in March. Ebony was wiping down table 12 when she heard Mr. Patel's voice drift from his office. The door was half open, and he was on the phone again. His voice sounded heavy, like a man carrying rocks on his back. "I just don't know if I can keep doing this, Michelle," he said. Michelle was his wife. 20 years I've run this place. 20 years, and now the debt is crushing me. Maybe it's time to let someone else take over. Ebony's heart started beating faster. Her hands kept moving, wiping the table in slow circles, but her ears were locked on every word. "There's interest from a few people," Mr. Patel continued. "Damon says his investors lined up. Some restaurant group from the city called too. I'm meeting with them next week." Next week. 7 days. Ebony finished wiping the table, walked calmly to the supply closet, and pulled out her phone. Her fingers shook as she typed a message to Mariah. "It's happening. He's selling. We need to move now. 3 dots appeared immediately. Then, I've been ready. Send me everything you have. Let's build this proposal tonight." That night, Ebony didn't sleep. She sat at her kitchen table with her laptop, spreadsheets glowing on the screen, calculator clicking under her fingers. Mariah was on video call, both of them working like soldiers preparing for battle. "Look at these numbers," Ebony said, her voice steady and strong. "La Mariposa makes good money on weekends, but weekdays are dead. Nobody knows about the lunch special because there's no marketing. The Instagram page has 847 followers. My personal account has more than that." Mariah nodded, taking notes. "What about costs?" "The food supplier charges 30% more than the market rate." I called around. "We could save $4,000 a month just by switching. The staff schedule is a mess too. Too many people on slow days, not enough on busy nights. That's another $2,000 we're wasting. What's your vision?" Mariah asked, leaning closer to her camera. Ebony closed her eyes and saw it clearly. New menu. Fresh, modern, but keeping the classics people love. Social media campaign. Real photos, not those old stock images. Better training for staff. A culture where people respect each other. Where nobody is invisible. Her voice cracked a little on that last word, but she pushed forward. Music nights on Tuesdays. Wine tastings on Thursdays. Partner with local food bloggers. Make La Mariposa a place people talk about again, not just a place their grandparents remember. Mariah smiled. "How much do you need from me?" They talked numbers. Ebony had saved $37,000 over 3 years. Every extra shift, every skipped vacation, every birthday present she didn't buy herself. It all went into that account. Mariah would put in $150,000. Together. They could offer Mr. Patel $200,000 for 60% ownership. It's less than what the restaurant group will offer, Mariah warned. But your proposal needs to show him something they can't give. Heart, vision, a future, not just money. Ebony worked for 3 days straight. She created a presentation on her laptop with charts and graphs and pictures. She wrote a letter to Mr. Patel explaining everything. She practiced her pitch in the mirror until the words flowed like water. On Friday, she asked Damon for a meeting with Mr. Patel. Damon laughed, actually laughed out loud. A meeting? What could you possibly need to meet with Mr. Patel about? You want to complain about your tips? It's personal business, Ebony said calmly. Can you ask him if Monday works? Damon rolled his eyes but sent a message. 5 minutes later, his phone buzzed. He looked at it, and his face went confused. He says Monday at 2 o'clock. What is this about? You'll see, Ebony said and walked away. That weekend was the longest of her life. Every hour felt like a day. Every day felt like a year. She checked her presentation 17 times. She read her letter until she had it memorized. She called Mariah 6 times, and every time Mariah said the same thing. You've got this. Believe in yourself like I believe in you. Sunday night, Ebony stood in front of her bathroom mirror. She looked at herself, really looked. The scared girl who had started working at La Mariposa 3 years ago was gone. In her place stood a woman with fire in her eyes and steel in her spine. They don't see you, she told her reflection. But tomorrow they will. Monday came with sunshine pouring through the windows like liquid gold. Ebony put on her best dress, the navy blue one she'd been saving for something special. She did her hair in soft curls. She wore the pearl earrings her mother had given her before she died. She walked into La Mariposa at 1:55 p.m. Damon was at the host stand, and his mouth actually fell open. Why are you dressed like that? Your shift doesn't start until 4. I have a meeting, Ebony reminded him, walking past. She knocked on Mr. Patel's office door. Her hand was steady. Her heart was racing, but her hand was steady. Come in, his tired voice called. Mr. Patel looked up from his desk and blinked in surprise. Ebony, please sit down. She sat, placing her folder on the desk between them. Mr. Patel, thank you for seeing me. I know you're considering selling La Mariposa. His eyebrows went up. How did you? I pay attention, she said simply, and I'm here to make you an offer. For the next 45 minutes, Ebony talked. She showed him her numbers, her plans, her vision. She explained every cost-cutting measure, every marketing strategy, every improvement that would make La Mariposa shine again. Mr. Patel listened without interrupting. His expression changed from surprise to curiosity to something that looked almost like hope. This is impressive, he finally said. Very impressive. But Ebony, you're a waitress. How can you possibly afford this? She opened another folder and showed him her bank statements, Mariah's investment commitment letter, and a loan pre-approval she'd secured from a small business lender. I can afford it because I've been preparing for 3 years, she said. I know this restaurant better than anyone. I know what works and what doesn't. I know the customers, the staff, the rhythm of every single day. And I know I can make it successful again. Mr. Patel leaned back in his chair, studying her face. Why didn't you ever say anything? All this time, you've been this capable, this smart, and you just served tables. Ebony's smile was small but fierce. Because nobody asked, nobody saw me, but I saw everything. Silence filled the room like water filling a glass. I have other offers, Mr. Patel said slowly. Higher offers. I know, but they'll treat La Mariposa like a business. I'll treat it like a home. Your home, the place you built for 20 years. Don't you want someone who will honor that? Mr. Patel's eyes got shiny, like he might cry. He picked up a proposal and flipped through it again. Give me until Wednesday, he said. I need to think about this and talk to my wife. Ebony stood up, shook his hand, and walked out of the office. Damon was waiting in the hallway, pretending to check the reservation book, but clearly eavesdropping. What was that about? He demanded. Business, Ebony said, and went to change into her uniform. Wednesday felt like it would never come. Ebony worked her shifts in a daze, her mind spinning with possibilities. What if he said no? What if Damon's investors offer more? What if? Her phone buzzed during her break on Wednesday afternoon. Mr. Patel's message was short. Come to my office when your shift ends. Bring your investor. Ebony called Mariah, who drove 3 hours from the city to be there by closing time. At 11:30 p.m., they sat across from Mr. Patel in his quiet office. The restaurant was empty now, cleaned and ready for tomorrow. Outside the window, Oak Ridge slept peacefully. Mr. Patel slid a contract across the desk. I'm accepting your offer, he said. 60% ownership goes to you and Ms. Mariah. I'll keep 40% and stay on as an advisor for 1 year. After that, you're on your own. Ebony's hand shook as she picked up the pen. Her eyes blurred with tears, but she blinked them back. This wasn't the time for crying. This was the time for action. She signed her name, Ebony Marie Daniels. Mariah signed next. Mr. Patel signed last, and it was done. Congratulations, he said quietly. You're now the majority owner of La Mariposa. Ebony looked down at the contract, at her signature in black ink, and something inside her chest exploded with joy and pride and power. The invisible waitress had just bought the kingdom. Tomorrow, everyone would know. Thursday morning arrived like a sunrise after the longest night. Ebony woke up at 6 a.m., even though she didn't have to. She couldn't sleep anyway. Today was the day everything changed. Today, the invisible woman became visible. She dressed differently this time. A black pantsuit that made her look powerful. Heels that clicked with authority on hard floors. Her hair down in confident waves. Red lipstick, the color of victory. She arrived at La Mariposa at 9 a.m., 1 hour before opening. Mr. Patel was already there, and he gave her a small, knowing smile. Are you ready? He asked. I've been ready for 3 years, Ebony replied. The staff started arriving at 9:30. First came Marcus, the line cook, joking loudly on his phone. Then Brittany, the hostess, complaining about traffic. Then the other servers, the bartender, the busboys. And finally, at 9:58, Damon strutted in wearing his expensive suit and that confident smile he always wore. Morning, people, Damon announced, clapping his hands together. Staff meeting in 5 minutes. Let's make today great. Everyone gathered in the main dining room, standing around the tables. They chatted and laughed, completely unaware that their world was about to flip upside down. Damon stood at the front, ready to start his usual speech about customer service and sales targets. But Mr. Patel stepped forward first. Actually, Damon, I need to make an announcement, Mr. Patel said. His voice was calm but firm. Everyone, please give me your attention. The room went quiet. People stopped talking and turned to face him. I want to introduce you to the new majority owner of La Mariposa, Mr. Patel said, gesturing to his left. Ebony stepped forward from where she'd been standing in the shadows. You could hear a pin drop. Actually, someone did drop something. Brittany's phone clattered onto the floor. This is Ebony Daniels, Mr. Patel continued. As of yesterday, she owns 60% of this restaurant. She is now your boss. Damon's face went through 5 different expressions in 3 seconds. Confusion, disbelief, shock, anger, and finally, fear. What? He stammered. This is some kind of joke, right? No joke, Ebony said, her voice clear and strong. She walked to the center of the room, and I followed her. I purchased majority ownership of my business partner, Mariah Chun, who some of you will meet next week. Mr. Patel will stay on as an advisor, but the daily operations now answer to me. Marcus laughed nervously. Come on, you're a waitress. How did you? I was a waitress, Ebony corrected, her eyes meeting his directly. I was also a student of this business. Every single day for 3 years, I watched, I learned, I prepared. While you were making jokes about my accent, I was studying profit margins. While you were gossiping about my clothes, I was building relationships with investors. While you were underestimating me, I was becoming someone you should have respected. The room was so silent you could hear people breathing. Ebony pulled out a folder from her bag. Now, let's talk about changes. Effective immediately, we're implementing new policies. First, there will be zero tolerance for disrespect, discrimination, or bullying of any kind. Everyone here will treat each other with dignity, or they will not work here. Period. She looked directly at Damon. Second, management will be restructured. Damon, your position as manager is terminated. Your last paycheck will be ready this afternoon. Please collect your personal items and leave your keys with Mr. Patel. Damon's face turned red, then white, then red again. You can't do this. I have a contract. Your contract had a clause allowing termination for cause, Ebony said calmly. Creating a hostile work environment is cause. I have 3 years of documentation. Would you like me to read it out loud? Damon opened his mouth, then closed it. He looked around for support, but everyone was staring at the floor. Nobody wanted to meet his eyes. This is ridiculous, he muttered, but he was already backing toward the door. You'll run this place into the ground in 6 months. Then I guess you'll read about my success in the newspaper, Ebony replied. Goodbye, Damon. He left, slamming the door so hard the chandeliers shook. Ebony turned back to the staff. Some looked scared. Some looked amazed. Brittany looked like she might faint. I know this is a shock, Ebony said, her voice softer now. I know you're wondering what this means for you. So let me be clear. If you work hard, treat people right, and care about quality, you have nothing to worry about. Your jobs are safe, and honestly, they're about to get better. She walked between the tables, making eye contact with each person. But if you've been coasting, if you've been disrespectful, if you've been part of making this workplace toxic, you have 2 weeks to show me you can change. After that, we'll have a conversation about your future here. Marcus raised his hand nervously. What kind of changes are we talking about? Ebony smiled. Good changes. We're updating the menu with fresh, modern options. We're launching a real social media presence. We're bringing in a consultant to train everyone on customer service excellence. We're fixing the staff schedule so it actually makes sense. And we're raising everyone's base pay by $2 an hour. Gasps went around the room. People looked at each other with wide eyes. Wait, seriously? One of the servers asked. Seriously, Ebony confirmed. A happy staff creates happy customers. Happy customers create a successful business. It's not complicated. Over the next 2 weeks, La Mariposa transformed like a caterpillar becoming a butterfly. Brittany apologized to Ebony privately, tears running down her face. I was horrible to you. I don't know why. I guess I was just following everyone else. I'm so sorry. Ebony looked at her for a long moment. Apology accepted. But words are easy. Show me through your actions. Treat every person who walks through that door with respect. Can you do that? Brittany nodded hard. Yes, I promise. She kept that promise. Within a month, Brittany became one of the best employees, greeting every customer with genuine warmth. Marcus took long to come around, but eventually he stopped making jokes and started making excellent food. Ebony worked with him to add new dishes to the menu, and he discovered he actually enjoyed being creative in the kitchen. 3 staff members quit rather than change their ways. Ebony let them go without argument and hired new people who shared her vision of respect and excellence. The new menu launched in April with a big social media campaign. Ebony hired a local photographer to take beautiful pictures of food. She partnered with food bloggers who posted about La Mariposa's transformation. She started Transformation Tuesday music nights and Thankful Thursday wine tastings. Customers noticed. Oh, did they notice? This place feels different, people said. The energy is amazing. The service is incredible now. Have you tried the new salmon dish? It's unbelievable. Within 3 months, weekday reservations doubled. Weekend bookings had a 2-week waiting list. The Instagram page grew from 847 followers to 12,000. News websites wrote articles about the waitress who became a restaurant mogul. Ebony saw Damon once, 6 months later, at a grocery store. He pretended not to see her, but she walked right up to him. Damon, she said pleasantly. He turned, looking uncomfortable. Ebony, I heard the restaurant is doing well. Very well, she confirmed. We just had our most profitable quarter in 5 years. I wanted to thank you, actually. His eyebrows shot up. Thank me? Yes. Every time you underestimated me, you motivated me to prove you wrong. Every insult was fuel for my fire. So, thank you. I couldn't have done this without you showing me exactly who I didn't want to be. She walked away, leaving him standing there with his mouth open. 1 year after buying La Mariposa, Ebony stood in the dining room at midnight, after everyone had gone home. The chandeliers glowed softly above her. The tables were set for tomorrow's customers. Everything was clean, organized, perfect. She thought about the scared girl who had started working here, who had been invisible and mocked and hurt. She thought about the late-night studying, the secret savings, the quiet determination. And she thought about who she was now, a businesswoman, a leader, an owner. The pain of the past had transformed into the power of the present. Ebony pulled out her phone and recorded a quick video. She posted it to La Mariposa's Instagram account. A year ago, I was serving tables here. Today, I own this place. I'm sharing my story because I want you to know you are never just anything. You're not just a waitress or just a cashier or just a student. You're a person with a brain, with dreams, with power. Don't let anyone make you feel small. Learn everything you can. Say what you can. Prepare in secret. And when the moment comes, be ready to step into your greatness. If this story inspired you, like this post, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and follow us for more inspiration. Your time is coming. I promise. She hit post and watched as likes and comments started pouring in immediately. Ebony smiled, turned off the lights, and locked the door behind her. The waitress who was mocked had fired them all. But more importantly, she had fired up a dream, built a business, and proved that respect isn't given, it's earned. And in Oak Ridge, at the corner of Diamond Street, La Mariposa shined brighter than ever before, a testament to the power of patience, preparation, and refusing to stay invisible. The queen had taken her throne, and she was just getting started. If this story moved you, inspired you, or made you believe in the power of quiet determination, please share with someone who needs this message, and subscribe for more stories of triumph over adversity. Your support helps us bring more inspiring stories to the world. What will your transformation story be? Tell us in the comments below.